So let's start with making this the most fun to drive car in its segment. And to go with that, surprise people with being the safest car in the segment. So the vehicle structure is where we start, and over 60% of the body structure is high-strength steel, and then we've also peppered in ultra-high-strength steel where we need it. So we've optimized for mass, rigidity, stiffness. This car is 77% stiffer than the car it replaces, the old Aveo. And that's what you feel when you go down the road. That's what you react against with the suspension, and that's what helps give you these top safety performance criteria. We have a somewhat of a typical suspension for a vehicle of this size and weight, McPherson strut front, and then a torsion beam or compound crank rear. But the magic in what we did with this was by having this really good body structure that we're pushing off of. So you're not pushing against something that's also bending. You're pushing off of a good body structure. We're 100% alloy wheels. Alloy wheels are 3 to 4 times stiffer than steel wheels. So not only does it look good and gives you a great pair of shoes, but that difference is immediately evident when you're on course road. The difference between a steel and an alloy wheel is 2 to 3 dB, depending on the frequency range. So we spent a little extra money so that even our base car has that great sound going down the road. Plus, with that extra stiffness, you can do the right tuning with the suspension and integrate the whole thing well so that you're pushing off of a solid wheel and a solid body structure, and the suspension is reacting as it needs to. We also added a quicker steering gear ratio, so we went from 16 to 1 to 14 to 1, because we really wanted to have this agile, quick, athletic handling characteristic. But then when you have the solid structure and you have the right wheels and you have the right tires and you've tuned everything correctly, you can then soften some of the ride bushings. And by softening some of the ride bushings, we've reached this sweet spot of integration where you go down the road, and if it's a road with a lot of bumps and a lot of things that would kick the car side to side and give you a lot of head toss, this car just eats it up, and your head is pretty still. And then when you want to do the quick stuff and you want to get into the curves, really push it, carve into this stuff, see what it's got. Push it like you would push a sports car that's twice its price. That's the kind of stuff we did to make this car ridiculously fun to drive and blow away the other cars in the segment. The powertrains we have a 1.8 naturally aspirated. That's mated to a 5-speed manual as our base engine, and then the 1.8 mates to a 6-speed automatic. We have the 1.4 turbo, which is mated to a 6-speed manual, which we have today. And then in the spring, the 1.4 turbo with the 6-speed automatic comes out. Both are global engines that we use in our cruise and other applications, and well proven. And you'll see today we have a lot more horsepower than our competition, but the 1.4 turbo with the 148 foot-pounds of torque is really where the powertrain and the 6-speed manual come together quite nicely.